So let me take just a quick moment here to give you a broad overview of this course and to kind of set a foundation on how I teach and what I'm going to expect from you as you go through the course material. So first off, this is the intro page, the landing page for the course, and it's a great place, and it's someplace that you've already been since you've enrolled in the course, where you can find the various topics that are included in the course. So this is a beginner to advanced course using Python. So as you can see, the various topics here, we start out with the simple, basic understanding of Python. We're going to get you up and running on your system, your local system, to use Python. So we're going to discuss things like installing Python. Now, first, you got to download the executable from python.org. We'll then install it on your system. I'll walk you through those steps. Then, once it's installed and we've tested it, we're going to jump into the command prompt, get into Python, and we're going to start with understanding the fundamentals of programming with Python. Now, if you're coming from another language, something like Java or C Sharp or some other language, there's going to be a lot of similarities. You're probably here to learn those similarities and to learn the little differences that are in there, perhaps little syntax differences. If you haven't programmed before, you're brand new, or maybe it's been years and now you want to pick up Python, which is a very popular language, I'm going to teach you from the beginning and progress you step by step to get into those advanced topics. Now, the way that I've structured this course, and you can see it as you look through the outline there, each topic will build upon the previous topics. Let me give you an example. So we start out with getting set up with Python. The next step is some fundamentals. We'll talk about variables and data types. Then, once we get an understanding of variables and those data types, we'll talk about operators so that we can then take those variables and those various types of data and start to do calculations with them and manipulate those data points. We'll talk about very specific types, in this case collections, how we can store lists of data, and then how we can then retrieve that data. We'll build upon these concepts as we get into more advanced topics, getting into other interfaces to do development with Python. We'll talk about modules. We'll talk about object-oriented programming later in the course. Now, I also want to encourage you to participate in the course by completing the projects. And you're going to see a few projects that pop up that are just kind of interdispersed throughout the course. For example, the first project that you're going to get into, project number 1, is to utilize Python to create a quick little game. Just a text-based game based off of the Magic 8-Ball. You ever play with one of those? I go down to the store into the toy aisle and my kids grab it. They'll flip it over, ask it a question, give it a little shake, flip it over, and it'll give them a response. You're going to create a little text-based version of that utilizing Python. And I'm going to give you that as a challenge, as a project for you to do. There'll also be solutions. So as you get in there, I'll give you a project preview so you can actually see what it's going to look like and what you're going to build. Then I'm going to give you instructions on how to actually go about doing it. Once the instructions are there, I'm going to leave it up to you. You're going to complete it to whatever degree, all the way or partial or whatever your comfort is. And then you can come back in and optionally view the solutions that I'll give you. Now, one of the beauties of programming, not just in Python, but in any language, is there's always going to be multiple ways to do things. And you're going to find that here, especially when you get into the project section. Now, you're also going to find as you go through the various sections that there will be quizzes. Test your knowledge, gauge your understanding, make sure that you're solid on one topic before you move to the next. Because remember, the way that I structure this course is each section builds on the next. Start at the beginner, go through fundamentals, go through intermediate level, and then progress into advanced level topics, programming within Python. So I hope you're excited. I hope you're as excited as I am to get out there and to share this knowledge with you. And I've had loads of fun creating this course. Hope you enjoy it as well. Participate, jump into the Q&A section, introduce yourself, let me know who you are, where you're coming from, what brought you into Python. I've created a little question out there, and actually that's something I should show you as well. If I get into the course, once you're in there, and you're already in there, you will see a link towards the top for course content. That's where you can find all the lectures and jump around wherever you like. You can revisit prior lectures, you can jump ahead, whatever. But there's also a section called Q&A where you can get in there and you can ask questions or reply to questions or just read through questions. So if I go into the Q&A section, you'll see I've already created one in there called Introduce Yourself, and I want to encourage you to jump in there and do just that. Introduce yourself. Let me know who you are. What brings you to Python? What brings you to this course? Now, eventually, as this course is starting to fill up with various students, that thing's going to get pushed to the bottom. So you can get up here and you can do a search. If you just type in Introduce Yourself, you'll find it. So let me know who you are, where you're coming from, and ask your own questions as well as you get into the course material. So once again, participate in the course, jump through the sections, utilize the course content tab here, and also at the end of the course, you'll be receiving a certificate of completion. Look for the progress bar at the top of the screen. Once you get through all the items, you completed the course 100%, you'll see a little trophy icon show up on the right. You can click on that and you can print out, download, share online your certificate of completion and be proud of what you've accomplished and the skills that you've picked up. So I'll see you in the course as we start to get into Python.